Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to the Real Long Walk. Let's get back in our boat while the creeper is over there and not over here, where it can kill me or hurt me, however it deems to. I'm pretty sure its intent would be to kill. My armor is all right, so I probably would survive a blast. Hope everybody is enjoying their day today. I do have stuff to talk about this time, or so I think. I may prove incorrect, but yeah, I've picked up a couple games, and I believe it'll that's something for me to talk about. Uh, it's weird when they just when you find stuff like that, it's just floating, no good reason, just floating there. Cause why not? It likes to float. It sounds like a weird statement to make. Yeah. I guess for one thing, I decided it wasn't quite as a terrible thing to pick up a game or two as it previously was. So I decided I'd let myself pick up about 3 or 4 games this sale that's not, you know, like $1, $1 and under, while they're on sale. And I've been having a hankering to play an RPG for a while. And maybe combined with the fact that I saw the trailer for Final Fantasy VII, the remake, the other night, I decided to pick up Final Fantasy 4 and 3. Why did I say 3 or 4, 3 and 4? That would make more sense. Picked up Final Fantasy 3 and 4, so I'm playing 4 first. And not a bad discount. It's like 50% off, I think. Uh, and I did complete Final Fantasy 4, but it's been a while. And I didn't do it completely properly in a number for a number of reasons. When I had my Super Nintendo, I really wasn't into RPGs. The only RPG I ever had for my Super Nintendo was Super Mario RPG, which I really enjoyed. Uh, at the time, even though I really didn't know what RPGs were, that was the first RPG I had ever played. And unfortunately, a lot of the games like that I missed, I wound up having to play later through means. In high school, we were really poor, and but we did have dial-up internet, so yeah, I did play some of the Super Nintendo RPG games that I didn't even know existed. Final Fantasy. What is this Final Fantasy uh, thing? So yeah, that's when I played that, and I did play through. I did play a bit of the first Final Fantasy uh, through means again uh, on the uh, on the NES sort of, and uh, and I never played through much of it, and then I did go to 4 then, which was 2 in the United States, even though it was 4 because 2 and 3 didn't come out in the United States. It was Japan only, and yeah. Funny thing is, I was trying to play them in order because I thought they had some sort of chronological order, which they don't. Most of them don't. Still would feel compelled to, not overly compelled to. If I were going to try to play through all of them, I would still feel compelled to play through them in order, but I wouldn't. Uh, yeah, use the Game Genie code to play through it, or I think I maybe got like maybe a third of the way in, and then I was like, You know what? This is taking too long. Game Genie it up. And I always was like, that game is pretty well revered. And I remember enjoying it fairly well. Don't remember much about it so far. Even though I'm replaying it. I'm not replaying it. I'm playing the remake of it right now. I still don't remember a lot about it. And I didn't remember a lot about it. But I know that a lot of people really like it. So that was one thing that motivated me to do it. I also did that to Final Fantasy 5 and 6. And 6, that's probably my second favorite Final Fantasy game. Uh, behind 10. Not 7. You guys thought I was going to say 7. People who know about Final Fantasy would have thought, oh, hey, he's about to say 7. Nope. I skipped the PlayStation and went right straight to the PS2. And by right straight, I meant like about 3-4 years after the PS2 came out. So that's why I never played the Final Fantasy 7 on the PlayStation and don't have the fondest of memories of it. Yeah, Final Fantasy 6, I did cheat when I played through it, when I was in high school, but I think like 2 or 3 years later, I played through it again, and I just breezed through it. No cheats, just breezed through it. I remember that felt really, really good, and the story of that one is great. Music is great. If you haven't played Final Fantasy 6, you should. It's a great game. But yeah, start playing 4, and it's really weird how nostalgia can just creep up on you and attack. Because Final Fantasy has very distinguished music to it, and just that right there was like, whoa, Final Fantasy, dang. that was a very strange feeling. Just suddenly hearing the music after having not played a Final Fantasy game in several years. Very strange. So far, it's been really fun. Played about 2-3 hours of it. It's not the best game to play with it. I mean, well, it is good to play with a controller, but it's a little glitchy with a controller, I guess I should say. For whatever reason, after playing for a while, it'll start getting an input that you're pressing down, or pressing to the side, and that is really annoying. I'll just be walking, and then just suddenly my character will just start walking over that way for no reason, and then I have to unplug my controller and plug it back in again. So that's a bit annoying. But overall, yeah, I'm really enjoying it again. I'm really looking forward to experiencing the storyline of it because, like I said, I don't remember a lot about it. I remember at some point you go to the moon. Do vaguely remember that. I remember there was a bunch of free crap in it. That's one of the things I love about RPGs. You just go in people's houses and start looking through their pots and be like, "Oh, you got a potion? Yeah. You got a tent. Woo! You got so much gold. Yeah." Free crap. I love that in video games. And you're just able to go through and loot stuff. I guess that's why people love games like Diablo and Torchlight. I knew there was a torch. I knew it began with a T. Torchlight. That's the name of the game. Yeah, why people like those type of games? You just get loot. One thing that's pretty strange about it is the graphics. It's rather pixely. Could see why some people wouldn't like it. It's not really that big a deal to me. Voice acting seems alright in it so far. That's something that the original game did not have. Being on the Super Nintendo, it definitely did not have voice actors. I don't think it did. If it did, I'm sure it wasn't for any extended amount of time, except for maybe like some, very small sound clips. It's not being overly difficult so far either. So, then again, I do know my way around RPGs a lot more now than I did when I was first playing through them. So that's definitely something that helps. Seems like there might be some new stuff that's in this version that's not in the other one. Something about augments. It's like an item that you can equip on on one of your characters to make them be able to take potions whenever he takes damage, which is interesting. I mean, well, that one right there is interesting, but I'm definitely not using that one because I don't want to use up all my potions every time he gets attacked. Definitely could be a good strategy to buy up a whole bunch of potions and have that used during a boss battle or something, though. So probably, and I think there's more than that. That's the only one that I've had so far as an augment. I'm sure there's others in it, so I'll be able to check those out as I come across them. I figure. Yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy it. Final Fantasy 3 I never played through. I think it might be, I'm not sure, I think it might be the one that came out on the Nintendo DS, which I never played. Uh, I never played it on the NES. I played it just a little bit, a translation of it, but I couldn't really get into it. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out eventually. Probably gonna have to, between the two RPGs, probably going to take, step back from them because that would probably be an overload. It's been a while since I've completed an RPG. They're not exactly a short game to play through. They take times. They take times. What? They take time to complete. They're not ones you can just sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to beat this game in like an hour. It takes about, well, way longer than an hour anyway to play through them. I didn't want that bad anyway. Let's put a bunch of planks here for no reason. And sleep. Yeah, and I want to eventually make a map of this world using Cartograph G. I guess is the way I would do it. And it'd be weird just seeing these random blocks here. So yeah, really been enjoying it. If you haven't played, a lot of people really love Final Fantasy VII, and I did play it. I bought a PlayStation 2, bought Final Fantasy VII, own it. Uh, the PlayStation 1 version of it, of course. I don't think there, I don't think there was a PlayStation 2 version of Final Fantasy VII that ever happened. I think they made one on PlayStation 3 or 4, like a straight up port. I actually have Final Fantasy VII on Steam. Never played through it too much. Can't remember if I played through it at all, to be honest. I know I installed it and was going to play it, but why did I never do that? I can't remember why I never did that. seemed like it kind of annoyed me the way it was set up or something. Like I had to make an account through Square Enix to be able to play it, even though I had installed it with my Steam account, and then I think I had trouble running it. Yeah, I think I did have trouble running it too. Yeah, that might have been why I never really got into trying to play it. Uh, but yeah, a lot of people say that's the best Final Fantasy or best game of all time. I enjoyed it well enough, but I never. I think I get why people would say that. It's probably the first. It might be the first one they played, and it was definitely the first one that was, definitely stepped into the 3D realm. It wasn't just, look down at the character like an overworld type deal. You could see the character 3D, look around the environments. I think you could. It was, if I remember right, it was definitely darker than the other ones too. I was like, whoa, this game's got swearing. I didn't think this game would have swearing. And I'm pretty sure I wasn't that terribly shocked. I was like 21 at the time. So I was like, oh, he said a bad word. No, I'm sure I wasn't that naive, but I was like, huh. There's a bit of swearing there. So, yeah, that's probably another reason people like it. And I did enjoy it. I remember just being okay with it. I completed it. I remember one thing that ticked me off was you had to use all the characters at the final boss battle, which is cool, but I wasn't expecting to have to do that. So some of the characters were highly underleveled. I wound up beating it, but yeah, I remember that was a thing that I was like, oh crap, this isn't good. There was you did get to oh hey, swamp. I'll be hitting some more land again. But yeah, I remember I was like, oh crap, this could be bad. Like several of my characters are way not ready for this. Don't it? Oh, wow, seems like every time you hit one, it breaks the boat. This is a large swamp biome. There's chickens. Yeah, I probably don't have to worry about food and resources just terribly, terribly, terribly bad. One stack of wool and one stack of... I could probably survive with just one stack of everything rather than doubling up like I've done. Should I bother making another boat? I guess I will. So I'm not going to put it down quite yet. I'm going to wait and see about if there's anything, any land that comes up after this. The swamp definitely continues. Yeah, another thing that probably made Final Fantasy VII pretty popular was was Tifa. That was probably one thing that made it pretty popular, and also the big dramatic scene that happens during it. The oh crap, I can't believe that happened scene. That's probably another thing that probably drove it into people's minds. Yeah, it definitely deserves a high place. Just not rated that well personally by me. That sounded less happy about it than I meant for it to. I probably need to replay it and see if I enjoy it more again. I would definitely be interested in playing the remake if I have something to play it on. I know according to the trailer, it said something about available on PlayStation 4 first, I think. So it might be coming to Steam. I doubt my computer could handle it at this moment, but I might wind up having a better computer by that time, so that might not be an issue. So yeah, I would like to play it when that comes out. Anything good? Not really. It's a zombie spawner. I don't think there's any more. Oh crap. Better run now before they start spawning. Yeah, Final Fantasy X is my favorite Final Fantasy game. Probably because it was my first more modern one. I know a lot of people don't like Final Fantasy X, or they don't like it a lot anyway. And there's reasons for it. I definitely agree with that. There's a laughing scene that's just super awkward. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Final Fantasy X laughing scene. It's pretty amazing. I remember that. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, it's bad. A lot of people thought that the main character was kind of whiny, and I can see that, but it didn't really bother me over much. The laughing scene was just strange though. A lot of people didn't like the way you leveled up in it. I really like that. Can't remember what they called it, if it had a specific name, but it wasn't one where you leveled up, like you normally do. Whenever you level up in it, you get orb points or something, I think. Can't remember. But what you do is you go around a grid. Each character has their own grid, and on the grid it's has things where like hit point plus 20, strength plus 2 or something like that. And as you get get orb points, well, it's kind of like leveling up in that you have to fight more. It's harder to get them the more you get into the game or whatever, and you spend those orb points on on stuff on the board. To get abilities and stat increases to make your character stronger, have more hit points, more magical ability, that sort of thing. And I can definitely see why some people wouldn't like that if they're used to the normal level up system. But I enjoy that for whatever reason. I can definitely agree that it could make all the characters seem about the same, sort of. You could make, the more of the magical characters be, more of a offense character with the, like straight up offense, physical attacks, that sort of thing. You could, I think there were maybe magical abilities for the others. I can't really remember. But you can make, actually I can't remember if there were magical abilities for some of the other characters. I don't think, maybe they weren't straight up. It's been several years since I've played Final Fantasy X. I was about to say Final Fantasy X too. It's been longer since I played Final Fantasy X-2. If you don't get the joke, then they made Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2. Yeah, it's kind of silly. It was a direct sequel to Final Fantasy X. They wanted to keep up with the characters and story of it. It was okay. It was okay. I didn't overly enjoy it. It's a very strange game. The main goal was kind of like, what was the main goal of it? I can't remember. I just know that the character from Final Fantasy X, the very serious, very serious demeanored girl who was helped save the world, and very serious stuff happened, and in Final Fantasy X-2 she becomes a bit of a pop star, and she does concerts and stuff. So it was a bit of a stretch, to say the least. And from what I remember, you'd get like costumes, which nothing wrong with that, but it just definitely was a different tone. I thought Final Fantasy X had a pretty good story. I thought. I said I thought twice because I thought it. Ow. And the music from Final Fantasy X was good too. That got stuck in my head. I can still remember it. And Auron was like, he's a badass. From Final Fantasy X. I remember thinking his character was pretty cool. Kind of a Gandalf type character, only with a giant sword and sunshades. Kind of a, but without a staff and no you shall not pass. So I mean they're about equal, kind of. Gandalf and Auron, both confirmed for Smash Brothers. That'd be so weird. Actually, I'm kind of surprised that none of the Final Fantasy characters have appeared in Smash Brothers. I don't think they have. Never really played Smash Brothers, but I know it's popular, and I know that people make a big deal when new characters are added to it. But yeah, Final Fantasy X is really good. Really enjoyed it. It was my first. Yeah, I said that. It was my first more modern RPG that I had played. The graphics was like, whoa, which is really funny considering, I mean, I was pretty new to the PlayStation 2. That was one of the first games that got on the PlayStation 2. So yeah, I was pretty easily impressed. I think as far as a console before that, I had a Nintendo 64. Yeah, I had a Super Nintendo, which I didn't play a lot on. Then I got a Nintendo 64, which I didn't play huge amounts. Mario Turok, play some Tetris. Crap, what all games did I have for... Oh, Mario, yeah. Mario for... Wait, I said Mario. Did I say Mario? For the 64? I can't remember. I think I did, actually. Then, the next console I got was the PlayStation 2. That is a bit of a jump. I missed a generation. guess I missed a generation. I know that the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 was out at the same time, but I can't really remember. I know the GameCube came out after the 64 and then the Wii. Okay. I guess 64 probably was the same generation, or would be considered the same generation as PlayStation, so. I didn't technically. Okay, I probably didn't technically miss one then. I just went from the 64 to the PlayStation 2. With the N64 not being the most known for their realistic graphics. But yeah, Final Fantasy. Good series, good music. The music is stuck in the head whenever I play it. There's a good reason why the composer of that series is very popular, very well known. I think I actually remember the guy's name, Nobuo something or other, which is half more than I know about a lot of composers for video games. I think that's his name. I'm gonna feel bad if it's not. I remember the name because they were like, when Blue Dragon came out, they were like, dude, it's got like the guy who did Dragon Ball and Dragon Quest, and the guy who made Final Fantasy, and the composer of Final Fantasy, all working on the same game. It's gonna be great. It was alright. Blue Dragon was. Wasn't the best RPG I'd ever played. It was alright. Anyway, yeah, well, I think this is a good point to call it before I start rambling on about, well, other RPGs. Spent a good bit of time talking about Final Fantasy. I figured I'd, have time, have a lot to say about it. Played through a good bit of them. Haven't played in the MMORPG ones, which I've heard they're pretty good, but yeah, definitely can't afford anything like a subscription right now. No WoW for me either. Wouldn't want to play WoW, but not for me anyway. So, yeah. I do sincerely hope you guys enjoyed just hearing me talk about video games and RPGs and stuff. Stuff that you guys may know nothing about. Yeah. None of you guys have probably ever played a Final Fantasy game, have you? I just bored the crap out of you. You have like a very wet seat because it has been bored out of you. Also, I just gave you a horrible, horrible visual image. And I apologize. I do hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next episode. Farewell.